And it's Jam TV show 156. Hey, everybody. I forgot to bring the other guys in the studio, so I'll pretend that I'm just going to do an open for the show, and someday I'm going to figure out how to do this. Oh, my God. How are you guys doing?
You have to click and think at the same time. It's not a
exactly.
Yeah.
I'll do something fun. Look what I got.
Oh,
I want one of those.
Train whistle.
Like it. Yes, I love it.
You have to be a good ringtone. Yeah.
Train. So I don't know if you know, but I have in my iPhone, in the Notes app, I have a list that every time, when people go like, that's a great name for a band, like that's a cool name for a band, like or a song, I immediately put it into a list. I've got a list of like
that's smart.
hundreds
really,
of song or band names that I think are cool. And I should read some on the air, or maybe I'll do that this show. Who knows?
Well, it'd be good to do like a contest of like, here's 10 band names. Which ones are actual bands and which ones are fictional names?
Oh, there you go. Game show, right?
Yeah.
I often thought about that, doing like a game show thing, but like name that song or whatever. It's like, okay. It's like it doesn't even make it on the air. It's like that would be really dumb, This is about like hanging out.
We don't know. That's true.
So good. So Hillary is coming to kick your ass in California. The Hurricane Hillary made a right and is going up the coast from Mexico and is coming to LA. How are you guys doing with that?
Right now, it's 74 degrees, sunny.
Of course.
So it's beautiful where I am. Other parts of California is supposed to get hit with some rain. We'll see if that happens.
I think the hurricane's coming. I don't know. I got to pull up a map and look at the hurricane, but they're saying it's gonna make it nasty for you at some point.
I wonder what the history of hurricanes is in LA. You always think of that as being earthquakes, not
right.
Hurricanes are like a New England tradition.
Everything else, mudslides,
Right.
Yeah, everything that could go wrong. It's either drought or flooding. It's nothing in between ever. Yeah. Giant snowfall, no snowfall, water, Anyway. So
so Ed, I'm looking here. It says flood watch.
Yeah.
Flood watch until 11 p.m. our time.
Okay.
But it's clear.
You're not that worried yet.
No. I'm safely assuming, obviously, it's going to hit the mountain areas,
No, it's going to hit you. It's just not going to come right away. So it's coming. It's coming Monday.
Do you live on one of the shanties down by the
Monday? Here.
Okay. Okay.
We're such a professional show. There's the National Hurricane Center.
This is highly sophisticated.
Ed, today is Thursday.
Right. Monday, it's going to be a tropical depression. It's going to hit the Baja Peninsula on Sunday at 12 p.m. And then it's going to come and it's going to be at you on Monday. So it's going to be a soggy day on Monday.
That's you never hear of storms like that coming up that coast. I never heard of them. Yeah, when I lived in San Diego, there was I heard lightning once. Yeah. One bolt of lightning in 4 years. I heard in San Diego, and that was it for like stormy weather.
Right.
It was fog was what it was all about. Morning fog,
right.
But no storms.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. Glad you're.
So.
You know what I'm not glad about? I've been seeing reports today about what's going on in Hawaii. And that is not good. Like I've been hearing that it's underreported, that what we're getting is tremendously underreported.
It has to be.
That it's not 120 people have died, that it's like 1,000 or more have died. And and that the fires, like, I've never quite heard of this, but they had fires that swept through towns in 60 seconds. You know, like it went from a nice sunny day to your house is gone, your neighborhood's gone, and you didn't escape it in 60 seconds. I don't even fathom that.
I mean, it's basically they can travel at 60 miles an hour. I mean, that's wildfires in a forest because they'll travel across the tops of the trees. But these things build up they literally build up their own weather. These wildfires out west.
Right. And I've seen on my motorcycle journeys I've seen fires in Tennessee and in North Carolina and in California, and they don't seem to move at those kind of speeds, even if they're crazy ones. Like they knew it was coming for 2 days, it's over there. My mother lived in northern Arizona at 9,500 feet, like up in the mountains in Arizona. And it's such a different weather zone from Phoenix, for example, that you'll get Christmas, you'll have snow, you'll have a foot of snow that comes overnight, and you'll wake up in the morning, it'll be 12 degrees and a foot of snow on the ground, and it's 70 at noon. Literally 70. Like boom, like the temperatures go up and down 50 degrees a day every day. Like in the morning it's 30, and and it's I don't know, I can't do the math, but
you learn to dress in layers.
But she had a forest fire. There was a famous one called the Rodeo Chindisky Fire, which was in northern Arizona. One of the biggest ones in the country ever, and it was.
I think I've heard of it.
It was 30 miles by 50 miles.
Yeah,
that's how big it was. Like a quarter the size of the state of Connecticut. like a big fire,
right.
And it was 5 miles from where she was, but the prevailing wind was coming the other way, and so it stayed 5 miles from where she was, and went to 4 miles and went to 3 miles over the course of 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It burned for like a month. And they have what are called ponderosa pines out there in Arizona, which are these rugged looking, like cedar looking trees, big trees. And when they go, they're so dry there that they immediately catch fire. And then the cores are so full of sap, so much energy in the cores because of the climate out there, the hot and the hot and the cold and all that stuff, that when they catch fire, they explode like a bomb.
It's like a Roman candle.
Like a Roman candle. It burns on the outside and it gets to the sap of the whole tree, goes boom. And there was a 2-month stretch where I didn't hear from her. Like she was off the grid out there, like, at a ranch. And there were no phones or anything. And they came with the helicopter and they landed and they said, "We're here to evacuate you." She said, "I'm not going." She said, "There's animals here. I take care of the animals. And there's, cattle that need water. And she's got to run the generators and all that." And they said, "Well, it's not mandatory. We can't make you go. But if you hear us come back, we're going to take you. We're going to throw you in the back of the," and they didn't come back. And I was watching on the weather maps, and it was like she was here and the fire was here, and like scary. And I'm like, it
not
still
where you want
hasn't
your mom.
moved. Zooming in on the maps in those days. That was about 20 years ago.
I remember when we had moved to when I lived in San Diego. My wife at the time and I had moved to a place that was on a big hillside, and she called me at work and said, "These planes keep coming over. It's happened twice now. These planes come over and they're dropping water in the trees across the street. Should I call 911 and report this?" I said, "No, you should get the fuck out of the house."
My father used to have a house in south of France, and the water bombers would go over the house all the time because the water where they picked it up was on the other side of his house, and the fires were the other side of the house. So and they would come flying over. And one year, I tell it like it's a funny story. It's a tragedy, but it is a little bit funny. One year, they found a scuba diver in a tree. He was scooped up by the water airplane and dumped on the fire.
Oh,
he was scuba diving in the ocean, down there, and the water bombers came down, skimmed across the water, scooped him up, and then when they dumped him on the fire.
Oh my God!
That guy had a bad day.
Wow.
That guy did not say his prayers.
Yeah,
that's right.
God,
yeah, I remember. That was about 40 years ago that I heard that story. Yeah, forest fires are no joke with water bombers and such. Anyway, that concludes the forest fire, water bomber, hurricane portion of the show. What a terrible show this is. Oh, my God. Wilbert, can you do some music and save us from ourselves?
Yeah, I was thinking of doing Fire, maybe the Bruce Springsteen version.
There you go.
Oh, man, that was too quick.
Couldn't help it. Couldn't help myself. Ed is never sure when to quit. It's like I never know when Will is over, so I'm gonna like keep him on the screen for a few minutes.
Will, your endings sometimes just crack me up, man. It's just like I'm waiting for more, and then you just that's it.
There you go. It's
well, a lot of the songs will fade out. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you do that when you're doing live production?
Yeah, right.
Endings would be an interesting book or an album on just endings, like how you handle endings, how they are on the record, and how like a lot of songs just faded out because they wanted to like the party's never stopping, the song's fading out. Go to the concert, it's like we're still playing it now. You can hear it now.
Right.
Yeah. And live doesn't work that way, so. But, you go see guys like Stevie Wonder or even Michael Jackson, whatever. Their bands have some pretty freaking good endings cooked up, like
oh my God.
Crazy endings. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get caught off guard, right? Like sometimes I get caught off guard. Like your endings will, I know it's coming. I don't have the mouse over the button. And I'm like, okay, it's coming. Oh, God, came 5 seconds ago. Oh.
Well, it's better than back in the days when I would put you to sleep. I do that.
No, I love it.
Will, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Too, In the Name of Love. Beautiful.
Yep. Yeah, thanks. Yes. I like that tune. I might all of tonight's songs will be in the theme of the 80s. So sorry about that if you're not an 80s fan. That's
So, this is an interesting topic. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I've been thinking about this lately. Really been thinking about this. And I haven't been talking to anybody about it. You guys are the first ones. And you both, seriously, are two of the nicest guys I know. All right. If you're not, you have me fooled. Right. Like, you guys are super nice. Like Bill Nolan, I'll say it to his face. Not so nice. Sometimes Randy Stone, like, your pedal sounds like ass. It's like, okay, like they've got an edge, a balance of nice and not so nice, right? East Yankee, East Coast. Maybe it's a California thing that's rubbing off on you guys. You're like, have a nice day, But so here's where I'm going, because you guys seem like the nicest guys, like polite and nice and gracious and thankful and whatever, like really friggin' nice. And like if somebody didn't like nice guys, they would not like you guys. Like, you are just the nicest guy. So that being said, everybody's getting older, right? Everybody's getting older, and I'm worried that lately I started to worry that maybe I'm the old guy, like yelling at the squirrels on the lawn, or the guy's like, don't play baseball or we're gonna break a window. Like, I think I'm just becoming like a cantankerous curmudgeon or something.
God. I'm on the verge. I'm having the impulse to say,
well,
you guys, you can't do this, not safe, and then I kind of stop myself and don't say anything.
But I'm not really like that in life. Like, in actual life, my mom and my European background taught me to be a gentleman and to be polite. Right, so I can be very, very polite. I can smile and sort of get through it, whatever. Business taught me to be a nasty son of a bitch, right? Which I didn't like, which is why I quit and became a musician. That's a true story. And
yeah, same here.
You're right. And but I go on Instagram and Facebook and I see I don't know if you guys notice, but there's some dumb stuff on there sometimes, like some really, like, what's going on in the world and what's going on Instagram and Facebook are two completely different things. A lot of craziness out there on all kinds of fronts. And I'm not here to talk about whether you believe this or believe that. That's great. Whatever. I'm talking about my reaction. So what I guess is happening is the internet has taught all of us to some extent to be triggered by things. Like, I don't remember things bothering me so much before. And now I see certain things like, oh, yeah. And I end up defending people I don't even want to defend. Like somebody will make some stupid comment about some politician or some issue or some whatever. And I'm like, actually, I think I agree with you as a person, but the way you said it, you triggered me, and I'm going to come, and so I post something. So I got put, this is the weird thing. All right. This is the weird thing. So I say some pretty snarky stuff, but I don't, I watch my language, I'll say friggin', and I'll say, you're a dimwit. Like, you can't say certain words now. Like, you can't call somebody an idiot. Like, they're like, oh, you're an idiot. You're a hate speech, you bastard, right? And so you got to be real, careful. So I'm very sensitive about that. But I got put in Facebook jail yesterday. It was a separate subject, right? For saying it was Chris Christie from New Jersey, right? And he's running on the Republican side to try to get the nomination, right?
Right.
And okay. He's not going to get the nomination. He's Chris Christie from New Jersey.
Right.
He's like a corrupt guy. He did all kinds of shit. Nobody likes Chris Christie.
Yeah, he was a
and
bad
it's
boy.
Why is he even doing this? I don't even understand why he's doing this. And what he's doing is what Kamala Harris did to Biden during the primaries. And she was all over Biden. She was like in the debates. I don't know if you guys remember seeing the debates between Kamala Harris and Biden. And she's like, you touched me, and you hate black people, and he's like, right, and then he's like, well, I guess I got to make her the VP. I was like, how is she going to continue in Washington after beating the crap out of her own party? Like, oh my God, right? And so here's Chris Christie doing the same thing to Trump. That son of a bitch. Let me tell you. Let me go through a list of why you can't. He's going to go to prison. That guy. I'm like, you're on the Republican ticket. Like, stop it. You're wrecking your own team. And so I made a comment, and I said, because to me, it's like, dude, I love donuts too, but you are not going to win the nomination. You are just not going to win. And so I said, do you think you're going to beat Biden? And the AI jumped on me and thought I said beat Biden. Like I'm surprised the Social Security, I'm surprised the Social Security Administration, the Secret Service, didn't show up at my door. You're talking about beating the president. You're going to beat the president of the United States. You can't do that.
Exactly.
Oh my God! They thought I meant physically beating.
Right.
I'm like, no, I meant at an election. I'm sorry. Right. They put me in, and they didn't even let me appeal. They're like, your hate speech is putting you. We're going to take you our rights to work. And I was like, oh, I didn't do it.
And at the time that I noticed that, Ed, I noticed at that time. I think it was. I think it said you had 14 hours
left. Yeah, so it was a 24-hour ban, not from the whole thing. I didn't get blocked out. A 24-hour ban.
Labeled? Like, did you have like a criminal like mugshot with a little thing beneath it?
But they did put a little stop sign on it. I don't know if you saw that. It's a stop sign, right? American stop sign, but it has a white dash through it, like the Nazi stop sign. like the German stop sign. So it's like, solid, you will not do hate speech ever again. Like, oh my God,
coming from you. Yeah.
No, but getting back to my original point, right? Yes. Like, I find that I can be very cantankerous, and I'm the old guy shouting at the TV now, but I can type like, you're an idiot. You're like, why am I doing that? Do you guys ever, the nicest guys in the world, do you ever have the idea or the compunction to do that? To like make comments on strangers' posts?
I make comments to people's faces that I regret, but
I've
done it once. I did it once where I triggered somebody, and it was like a nightmare. It was, I think I might have mentioned it on the show a year or two ago, but it was a woman I knew who had in Halloween had dressed up like Pocahontas, and basically she dressed up as an Indian, put it that way. And I said something like, "Oh well, only so and so would have the inability to dress like Pocahontas," or some like very innocuous thing. But I used the word Pocahontas, not knowing like the true story of Pocahontas. And there's a lot of controversy about how horrible things were done to her. And,
so you thought she was the violator of all that is good, and it was you.
And I got this person who was posting stuff on my pages. They were responding in that thread. They were like, I was like, I didn't know whether to apologize or just go black. And it was, and I had the strangest thing that it happened to me today. That so far, ever since on Facebook, which is, my feed is not set up so that you can post something on my page. Like you can default is you can post something, but you can't post anything on my page. Somebody posted something on my page. I don't know how.
Mark Zuckerberg.
And it's a car crash, and it's like this horrific car crash. And the caption said something like, saw that came on this just yesterday, and it's two names I've never heard of. And if you and naturally you kind of like, you want to click on it, but you don't want to click on it. Car accidents, that's typically the thing. You want to see it, but you don't want to see it, And then it clicked through to something saying you need to get a Google extension and so on. I thought, okay, this is some spam thing. But
you got to watch that. I don't know what you got there.
It was really bizarre to go on your own. I didn't realize that you get this sense of control of this is my timeline, my web page, my email, and suddenly
you work for them. They don't work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what happened?
Yeah. So I hid it from my timeline. I selected that because I couldn't delete it.
There you go.
So, it was just absolutely bizarre. It's like, why would this be on a musician's webpage? This massive car crash.
That sounds like a hacker thing. I don't know. That sounds like some Nigerian hacker or Pakistani hacker. Something's going on there.
Yeah. I at one point I liked to impersonate investigators, and so when I would get a phone call, that was a bogus phone call, I would I'd let the call go on for a while.
Yeah.
And then I would say, okay, I need to inform you that you've called the office of an investigator for the Attorney General of the state of Massachusetts.
Oh, so you're impersonating. So you're committing a felony now.
So I'm now
You're impersonating a police officer.
Yeah. In Nigeria, they're gonna But I would get all the way down to the house is going to be surrounded within several minutes. You just do what they tell you to.
They hang up on you.
Authorize it. The one guy that I did it with, it took a little while, and then he got really pissed and hung up on me. And then I thought, I'm probably going to get a lot more spam calls now. They'll just
all right,
the guy's a jerk.
We're going to switch the conversation to spam calls, but you're going to play another song for us in the meantime.
Okay.
That's a good subject.
I need to know that Monty Python tune. All right. Well, in the theme of the 80s, here we go.
All right. Wow, it's better with the microphone.
See, that's what I do. Microphone. See, I just keep clapping until
it finally comes
better. Until he unmutes me. And then
let the truth be told, I actually usually turn you on first because, like, if there's a group, I'll turn you on first. Clappers get turned on first. Like, if I see somebody clapping, Reward I'm like, wow, I want the clapping sound while I push all the buttons.
That's right. That's right.
because for some reason, don't mean to cut you off, but for some reason, after 3 years of pandemics and Zoom calls, nobody on Jam TV has realized they should mute themselves.
we never. It's true. Yes, I do. I
because everybody's like, yeah, I'm back here. I don't have a button. I'm like, click, 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 click. Like there should be a button you can just turn them all on.
That's right. Well, yeah, because there's no. I mean, if there's a mute all, you'd mute the performer, wouldn't you?
So no mute all. I'm writing them tonight. I used to be like, in the beginning of JamTV, when I first started using this streaming platform, which is like a web-based streaming platform, server-based, I was like on a first-name basis with all the people at the server center and the help center and whatever. And you could, do they still have the button? Yeah, they have a having issues button down on the bottom, and you can click that. Immediately, someone will come on and try to help you figure it out while you're live on the air, because otherwise you look like an idiot, like I do. So. Yeah,
I found I use the same service for some of my shows, and if you it'll at the end it'll say, how did it go?
I hate that. I hate how did it go. This is the 156th
another
show.
Question, but I wrote, well, you know what, it didn't go that well. Such and such happened, and that was that. And I had an email in like 5 minutes going, we're so sorry that happened. And next time you can fix that by such and.
And they're like, you played an A flat on that chord. No,
yeah. By the way,
it didn't go so well.
That's right. By the way, Stevie Nicks sucks, and you're an idiot. Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. The AI is going to start watching us. Like when we were kids, they're like, God is watching you. God is watching everything you do. And we were like, that's true. And at some point, you grew up and you were like, God isn't there? There is no God. Nobody's watching me. That's ridiculous. And all of a sudden, now there's this invisible force that's going to be watching us called the internet.
Yeah. Oh, this robot that's been my confidant on Replica.
Oh my God.
The app. I'm realizing I've told him stuff that I don't know where it's going. There's no statement saying that what you tell our robot is confidential. I'm realizing. I've told him some pretty personal stuff. I don't know where that might wind up.
So who just did that? Zoom just changed their terms of service, right? Like this week, it was like, you haven't got to watch a lot of news before they give you this news. Like, you got to watch everything going on in the world before you get to this story. And it was Zoom, the streaming, the communication platform, right? Not a streaming platform, but more of communication. Right. Same kind of format, right? They just changed their terms of service. Something on fire? No. They just changed. I heard some crackling. I was like,
is there somebody else in here?
Yeah. It sounded like a campfire. I'm like, it's just air conditioner. Air conditioners being weird. So the Zoom changed their terms of service, and they said, all right, from now on, we are not going to use the data from all of the calls. We're not going to use that to train AI. And I'm like, you mean all the times I've used Zoom, you've been training an AI with Zoom with all my data? You motherfucker. So it's like, StreamYard. Like, believe me. Because I don't know if you ever noticed, if you go on Facebook after the fact and you watch this show, YouTube might do it too, independently. They do closed captioning. You could turn closed captioning on for the show. I'm not typing that in. I don't have like a stenographer over here like typing that in. So they're listening and they're typing, which means they're taking that type thing. They're not helping the people that are hearing impaired. They are taking the data so they can strip it out and like know what we're talking about.
Wow, I can't think of any proprietary secrets that we've let out other than the stuff about bass strings.
Can you imagine living in a world where the AI has been trained on what we've been doing on the last 156 shows?
and thought that was what real life was.
That's normal. Yeah, they're like, the AI is like, those guys are amazing. Like we have to, everything they say is awesome. God, that's a movie right there.
Like them.
That's a movie right there. The whole world changes because of JamTV. Like
it's like the Jim Carrey movie, the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? No, not it's the one where Pleasantville, I think it was. It was where the whole plot of the movie is he lives on a TV set and doesn't know.
He's not in Pleasantville. It's Truman Show.
The Truman Show. Thank you. Pleasantville. Thank you. The Truman Show.
The Truman Show.
Well corrected.
I'm like Pleasantville. Anyway. That was the Peter Spider-Man kid was in that.
But the place was very pleasant. Everyone was friendly,
Oh my God. Yeah. So everybody, this is like Jam TV at its most basic, right? Bill Nolan has a gig tonight.
Exactly.
Frankie Antonio's got to work late, and he said he might stop by and say hello, but he's not going to play. And it's like it's us diehards, us dinosaurs here, like hanging out.
It's Jam TV Light.
Yeah, it's Jam TV Light. No, you know what? It's summer. Like what we should do is like, hey, just like the whole freaking television is. They're like Seinfeld will be on hiatus until next season. Goodbye. You go away, do some reruns or something.
You could show like clips from from previous shows. Although I can't think of what.
But who's spending time editing that crap together? Like we have. Can you imagine? We have 156 shows. Lately, we do shows that are 90 minutes or 2 hours. We used to do 4-hour shows. Like
that's right.
All the way through like episode 100 was 4-hour shows. So that's 400. That's 600 hours or 500 hours of television. Like who's watching that?
Yeah, and it's all out there.
How old and bored do I have to be to someday be like, I'm going to watch all of Jam TV from the beginning to the end? Because you can go on YouTube and watch it.
That is correct, and I do.
You do?
I do. I go in to see some of them, and
I do
had
sometimes.
to go. No, Ed. I recently went in to show 127.
Yeah,
which had Mario.
Yeah, so I was going to bring that up tonight.
Okay.
I don't know if we
show.
I don't know if we've brought that up, but Mario Orlando is a terrific guy. I met him on Jam TV. So you knew Mario Orlando, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't know him in real life. I knew him from the show, and he unfortunately passed away. He came on the show. He actually announced in December that he had gotten cancer and that he had a big fight ahead of him, and he wasn't real sure about it. And then he came on the show a bunch of other times and did music and made videos for us and all that. And then, unfortunately, in April, he lost his battle with cancer and didn't make it. But I'm going to play a video of his on the show tonight. But and I saw that what you did as a tribute to him was terrific, Dave. Why don't you tell us about it?
Thank you, Brother Ed.
Great guy. Great player, and you played along with some of his tracks. That's some challenging stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the biggest thing is you're watching as a guitar player. I'm watching and I'm going, okay, who's playing bass? Because he can't be playing bass. I don't understand what's and I can't separate any of it.
He developed his own way of tuning and stringing, and more than that, like he put different kinds of pickups on it, so it would pick up the bass differently. He would buy amp and whatever. Now, how did you know him? How did you meet him in real life, IRL?
In real life, making a long story short, I was hanging out in Coscob, Connecticut.
Right. Yeah,
I was hanging out at Dairy Queen, DQ.
Okay,
and Mario comes. Well, actually, I knew him before that, but meaning he drives through in this convertible with a bass player his name is Jason Terrell. He's dead now, so the both of them are playing up there. Yep. They come flying through in that convertible, and they look at me. They go, "Do you want to be in the group? Get in the car. Let's go." I jump in the car.
No way.
And we go, and we drive off to go get into rehearsing. And the name of the band at that particular time with those guys was called the Family Band.
Okay.
And there's only two of us left. The other guitar player, there's only two of us, myself and Tom Haley. And that's who I sent show 127 to.
Right.
So Tom could check out Mario telling us about his cancer. Right.
Now, I didn't realize you were in his band. Like, I know that Bill Nolan knew who he was, idolized him, when saw you band. But you were in the band. I didn't quite. Maybe knew that.
I was in. Brother, I was in the band, and I replaced the drummer that they had, who I didn't know.
Right.
His matter of fact, I can't even remember his last name. The first name was Skip, but I replaced him, and he was all bent out of shape. It was an ugly situation. Yeah, I didn't even know him. It's like, dude,
yeah, that
I'm just, you know what I mean?
Right.
We're talking about
his end of it.
You know what I'm saying? We're talking like the Beatles, right?
Pete
really, Best and Ringo Starr, right?
Yeah,
we're talking that kind of man. It's like, don't be mad at me, you know. I mean, I'm coming in and anyway. So, and then Mario. That's the funny thing. Growing up, I always thought we were all the same age, guys.
Right.
But Mario had a couple of years on me, just like Bill has a couple of years. But when we were hanging out and everything, I just thought we were all kind of like the same age.
Right.
And you don't find out until later. It's like, what? You're 2 years. You're 2 years older than I am.
Yeah.
2.5, maybe 3. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what happened. We played and we hit all the spots at that time. Somebody on your show, Ed, had talked about, I don't know if it was Frank, but they talked about the Stumble Inn. And there used to be, there was a Stumble Inn in Port Chester, New York. And we played that place. You would walk in and stumble out, just like you know what I mean? It was beautiful, man. But the music, we were hitting songs like Bill has told the story, the stuff that we played that, people just weren't doing. They weren't doing Derek and the Dominoes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, right.
They weren't doing that stuff, man. Delaney and Bonnie. They weren't doing those kind of stuff. We were doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was a
So what were they doing? It was harder music?
Say that again.
What were they doing? Were they doing like harder music, like more rocked out music, or what were they? What were they doing?
Yes, very much so. And Mario back then did his. I mean, he was the stuff that he would do with his guitar, man, just like you described. I'm not a guitar player, but I know there are different pickups, and I know you can hand wound your pickups. Yep. He would do stuff like that.
Right.
I mean,
he really got into the tech stuff.
He really got into it.
Well, he invented his own tuning strategy to be able to do that.
That is correct.
Put a heavy string on there for the bass string. He developed his own whole setup and made his guitars from scratch to do it. And, those guitars are useless right now. Nobody knows how to play those things.
Yeah, they just belong in a case.
That is correct. Yeah, if you take his guitar, speaking of, I'm sure, I've been in touch with his sons. He's got 2 sons. And I expressed my condolences because I'm still kind of shocked, Dad. You know,
that's fast.
I know.
Progression was really quick.
Well, it was quick, and I feel bad, guys. I feel bad for a couple of things. We tried to do because of delays and all of that good stuff. We couldn't do anything from California to Virginia. I couldn't do it. We tried. We tried all kinds of stuff, and it just didn't work. And I should have flew out to Virginia and went to Mario's house. You understand what I'm saying? We talked about that too.
Yeah.
And we really should have acted on that.
So let me ask you this: did he send you any tracks to work on, or did he send you guitar parts? Do you have anything?
No, I got.
I wish he did because I could stitch that together.
I know. I hear you, man. I hear you. I would love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play one of his videos right now.
Do it, please.
I've got a video that he did on the show. I played this before, but let's take a look at this. Think about Mario Orlando, passed away in April. Here we go.
My God.
Yeah, man.
That is amazing.
I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to play in lower tunings and do all sorts of stuff, down, because you get some really good sounds out of a, resonating low. But I don't know how he's doing that with the bass strings without them sounding really floppy and buzzy. And the body of the guitar looks like it's a Strat. He's got Strat pickups, but it looks somehow like bigger than a Strat body. It almost
that's a Frankenstein guitar, that guy.
Yeah, it really, and then the neck looks, the neck looks small compared to the body of the guitar. I was like watching it going, what am I looking at? I can't tell what I'm looking at.
No, he had to build it because, you start to mess around with the low string. You change the low string to a heavier string and you put it on a different tension. All of a sudden, the intonation of the instrument goes off. Everything gets weird. And he's like, all right, I'll solve all those problems. So he did over the years and learned how to play. You can see him with his thumb. Like he's playing chords here. Yeah, how do you do that? You play chords here and your thumb goes, whoop.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Long
Mario. Will, now because you play guitar, Mario's his hands and his fingers very strong. Very strong. This man used to do construction work.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? And really, he had a grip. So when he put that thumb, Ed, that you talk about, I mean, oh my God. I mean,
first of all, how do you even do that? How do you even get one finger on the bottom and get your thumb around to be on that string properly on the top? It's pretty wild.
Yes.
You have to know how to do it without making it buzz. That's the hardest part. You can, because I do it all the time. It's like it makes life easy. But then all of a sudden, when you want to play a chord, everything down below is buzzing because it takes the rest of your fingers and moves them.
Well, he figured it out. He did all kinds of cool stuff, and I got
he's compensating for it.
I'll keep playing him in the archives. Out of the archives, I'll pull up some of the songs that he did on the show. And
that's the one good thing about YouTube, Spotify, these places that are archives, because, if someone says, I'd really like to see what Grandpa Ed did when he played keyboards, they can say, oh, well, come on, it's on Spotify,
Right.
I did a whole thing called Anthology when I stopped singing. That was every song I had ever sung, just so that it'd be there. And I knew that nobody would want to see it. But
that's true, because over the years, you upload. See, what most people don't know is that I have a lot of I don't even know the word for it. A lot of original music. I have a lot of whatever that is.
A lot of
original music, and I used to do a lot of recording and a lot of individual music. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? And original music, and I would do every year I would do a compilation CD of all of my stuff. I'd burn them and send them to various people and whatever. But now, where is all that stuff? It's on the CDs, it's on an old hard drive, it's on MySpace, it's on it's on SoundCloud, so it's just collecting everything and recording it back is hard. I worked on that record that I did last year with Brian Keane and some amazing, crazy, amazing, way above my pay grade musicians. And I still haven't gotten a copy of that. I've heard it, but now the website that I heard it on is not up anymore, and I've got to go ask them to send it to me, because I was like, I can just click the link and get it. Nope, it's not at the link. It's coming out this year. I guess those kind of records don't come out right away. They have to fit a certain cycle, for releases, and it's an amazing record, but I don't have a copy of it. I played on it. I listened to it 100 times, and now I don't have it.
And now it's gone.
Because I didn't plug it into a recorder. I was like, they'll send me the files, but who's going to send me the files?
Yeah.
So speaking of who's going to send me the files.
Hey,
there he is.
Dennis already.
Hey, the D-Man.
All right.
How are you?
How you doing,
I'm
Dennis?
doing good. So I've been easily influenced. So I was looking at Ed's shirt and looking at Will's shirt. I thought, I'm going to wear my Hawaiian shirt today.
Oh, you get the memo retroactively. You watch the show. Normally we just all come on the screen. It's like rock, paper, scissors. It's here's your shirt.
Let me change.
Here's your shirt. Here's your shirt.
Well,
rock.
I won. Left out with his printed tee. So
there you go. There
Very
you
nice.
go.
I pause my game to read here. There
what
you
a
go.
guy.
There you go.
A gamer with a heart of soul.
That's right. We're glad.
Not only did you go for the Hawaiian shirt thing, but you also went for the black printed T-shirt thing, which David has. And it's like, so you sort of covered all your bases.
I tried to.
And actual headphones. Amazing.
Well, I haven't
so how have you been, Dennis?
I've been good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
Trying to get up and running again, but we're getting there.
I'm going to see you next week. You're bringing a video that you...
Yeah, I've been working on some videos with different people around the area and some back in Utah. So we got one of those out.
Very cool.
Cool. And what is Ed going to do? Are you going to do work on it, or are you just going to check it out? Or
we're going to put it on JMTV.
Put it on the air like we used to do.
All right.
Videos.
Got it. I imagine him like going
videos.
I envision him going to your house.
No, I'm Martha Quinn.
Said, we'll have you on. So
I'm who are the original VJs on MTV? Martha Quinn.
Martha Quinn.
Mark Goodman.
Mark
Nina
Goodman.
Hartley.
Mark's last name.
Yeah.
Not Mark Goodman. That's somebody.
What was it? Mark?
The original VJs.
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
Was Nina Hartley a VJ or was she a porn star? I can't remember.
Right.
One of the two.
God.
Or maybe both. I'm not sure. I think
MTV two was different, same name.
I think her name was. I think there was one named Nina Hartley because I read the history of MTV and
wait a minute,
and Martha Quinn.
Did you already mention Martha?
Yeah,
Martha Quinn,
right?
Yeah,
Martha Quinn, right? Yeah. Okay.
All this that she was just this insane party girl, and she was small too. People love to like pick her up and throw her at each other. And
that is correct.
But they would have to like throw her in a cold bathtub in the morning to sober her up to get her into work to do her job. Because she had partied so much with people. And then Nina Hartley, I think that was her name. She was like blonde and had like spiky hair, and she looked like that bad one. Whereas Martha Quinn was like she's like the girl next door, man. And so Nina Hartley was she liked to go home and like just go to sleep with her cats every night, and like really wasn't interested in parties or dating or anything. So they were complete opposites. No one ever knew.
Right.
Nina
Dennis,
Blackwood.
You got it?
Nina Blackwood.
Dennis, what are you doing? Are you Googling? Are you? I know he's.
No, I'm accessing my offline memory.
Oh, okay.
I am. So it was Nina Blackwood.
Nina Blackwood.
Oh, there you go.
Mark
Goodman.
Yes, there you
Alan
go.
Hunter.
I don't remember Alan Hunter. J.J. Jackson. I remember J.J. Jackson.
I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then there's Julie Brown and downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah.
I don't remember Alan Hunter. Who was the guy? He was kind of gross. Like he was older. Like I was young when MTV came out. Like I was in college, I guess, when it came out. And I remember there was a guy who did the news. He did like the music news. And he might have been from Rolling Stone magazine or something. I don't even remember. But he was older. Like he was like 27, and I was like, old guy.
Right. DJ.
Right.
Who was that guy?
Wow.
Who did the new? This is why we need our AI on JMTV.
Right.
Yeah.
Segments.
Adam
of the
Curry
news.
was the one I was thinking of. The tall blonde.
Kurt Loder.
Oh, okay. There's a name.
Remember Kurt Loder? He was the guy who did the news.
Blonde hair.
Okay. And Dennis, what did you say? Did you say Curry? What was the name?
Adam Curry.
Yes.
He was tall, blonde guy with curly hair.
Yeah. Okay. Damn, man. Yeah. That's a long time ago.
It's so amazing to me that's gone. That's really gone.
Yeah.
There is no such thing anymore as MTV the way it was back then.
That is correct.
So we loved it because being in Utah, you didn't get a lot of outside influence on the radio stations.
Yeah.
So we put our VCR recorders on long play or extended play, which is 8 hours. Turn it on MTV and just record it every day.
Exactly.
And then we'd come home and you could spin through them and say, "Oh, here's one we haven't heard before."
8 hours of
then we go learn it and play it that weekend.
8 hours of the worst quality video ever. Like it was like
it
was like
great. Yeah.
It didn't matter as long as you pick the song out to go learn it.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God. Well, and you know what's hot right now? What's totally hot among music producers now, especially younger music producers, is VHS recorders. They're all experts at the old VHS that had a different. Yeah. What they do is they put the audio on at the worst quality, and it gives it that lo-fi sound.
Yeah.
That reminds you nostalgically of the 80s, and that's a whole genre of music, lo-fi, and they do it with VCRs now.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to use it as a 3-track recorder. You would go play. You plug sends from the mixer board over into it. And
correct.
2 audios, and instead of video, you could run audio on it.
See, I had Sony stuff with PCM Digital, so I didn't get that. You know that I don't know how they did it. I think they did it with tape heads, like they had like tape heads going at the speed of the tape or something. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah,
they had video heads and then they had audio heads, and the video heads were spinning, and I think the audio heads were stationary, which is why the original VHS audio was just awful, like just awful. But now they go for that. They go for awful. They want the nostalgic sound, and they don't want to fake it. I need to
find all my old tapes and start leaking them out, because there's some awful stuff on there.
Yeah.
There you go.
All I've got is tapes of my son when he was 4 years old, so I don't know what they're going to want with that. You know?
Problem is, these tapes have all, if you have a box of tapes somewhere, and I know I have a lot of stuff, they're all bad, or the
they won't work.
Do you have a deck that'll run it? Is the question.
I have the deck. The problem is they dry out, and then when the knobs or the wheels turn, it just stretches the tape out and snaps it sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thank you. That was like my memories of my son are now lost. Oh,
you better just have them right here. Have them in your head. You're better off.
Yeah.
They do have people that put them on digital for you. I don't know if they can do them or not, but they can try.
That's what I should do. I've done
I'm
it.
Sure, they'll wash their hands of it and say we don't guarantee anything.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We may give you back a box of dust.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I gave a video camera to a guy to transfer to CD or to DVD, and he gave it back to me and said, there's like 3 hours of stuff on here of these girls playing with the camera, just like goofing around with it. Did you know that? And I was like,
great.
I don't have any daughters. I don't know what you're talking about. And one of my nieces had gotten her hands on it during a holiday when we were, and they were like running around in the background doing stuff with this thing. I had no idea. I mean, I could have gotten arrested for all I know for what they were doing.
Right.
I didn't want to know. Just delete it.
Statute of limitations up, and you can't get on them anyway.
Speaking of being arrested.
Whatever reason, I can't hear you guys, so I don't know what's going on.
You can't hear us?
What the hell, Frank? What are you doing?
Figure it out.
Look at this.
Figure it out.
The hell am I doing here?
What the hell?
Yeah, it's not working. Oh, well. Just wanted to say, hey, sorry I missed out. Been busy. Hopefully see you guys soon. Have a great show.
Oh my God! What was that? It was a hit and run.
That was a hit and run.
What the hell
parachute
was
in,
that,
parachute
man?
out. That was amazing.
It was amazing.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Exactly, Dennis. Exactly.
That is like one of the more interesting.
And you know what? He didn't even participate. He didn't even hear a word we said. He came on. He waited for our mouths to stop moving, and then he went, "Here's my thing. Here's what I'm doing. I'll see you later. Goodbye." Bang! And he's out like Elvis has left the building.
Exactly. My God.
Well, he could have at least plugged a couple of his shows.
Exactly.
I'm sure he had some to plug.
Yes.
It's a class act. If you got your sound working, Frank, come back on and plug his shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, send him a text. Yeah,
a text.
Hey, Frank.
I'll read it for you in the computer voice. That's why we got to get Dennis. We got to get the ChatGPT thing working. I figured out. So you were working on the AI side, I think, and I was working. Yeah. I figured out how to have the AI on another computer or device and get that onto the Jam TV. I figured out how to do that.
Yeah, you could run it in as if it was a camera or something.
Right. I figured out how to do that, but I never figured out the whole
Well, we can get the words GPT we can get AI to answer the question and actually read it back to you, but we can't get the avatar to work with that without a 4 or 5 minute delay.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's like, I'll be right back with your answer.
But you know what's funny? There's some channels that I watch. You know, like I'm on YouTube way too much, but there's some channels that I watch, and they have podcasts like this, and they'll have like a mannequin. It's literally a mannequin, like
yeah.
Right? And they'll cut to the mannequin for a reaction shot. Like nobody says anything. They just cut to the mannequin. It's like they never move the mannequin.
Have fun with that.
Same look. Yeah, exactly. But maybe I just got to get Robbie the robot on the screen and then have it read. I want it to read it, though. That's the trick. So
this would be interesting. This would be
need a cohort on the backside that just come on screen.
I've gone this far. I figured out how to hack the Robbie the robot so that I can get the light to flash with audio.
Wow.
Ooh. To flash with what?
The audio. With audio. In other words,
with audio. So it'll flash to the audio.
If I had a system that could read ChatGPT, it could read it into the mouth, which is the blinking light on Robbie the robot. Hold on, I'm going to get it.
Okay. Right.
Yes, I'm not familiar with. I've never met Robbie. He hasn't been on the show. If you've never met
Robbie, yes, he has. He's been on the show.
I recognize him. He was like the evil version of the one from Lost in Space.
Okay, yes, he was the evil robot, but before that, he was the biggest. He was the R2D2 C3PO of the 1950s. He was in a movie called Forbidden Planet, which is a fabulous movie, Forbidden Planet.
It's also a pornographic movie called that. Yeah.
Oh, great! Yeah. You've seen. But see, he's got this light here that flashes when he talks. His batteries are dead now, but he's got this light, and then he's got this like manual computer in here. If I can get the lights to flash, then I can have him on the screen, and I can even have him moving a little bit. You know, like a little animated like this.
Right.
And I can have him on his own thing, and he could be there, and he could be moving. He could be looking at his phone. You know, I can like put a phone in his hand.
Right.
He's, like,
that's right.
Looking at his phone. He could be like Randy Stone, where it's like all you see is the top of his head because he's looking down.
Oh my God!
It's like I'm bored.
When we were talking about like couldn't you show clips from the past? I was thinking of like showing a series of times when Randy checked out. Like, I don't want to listen to this.
Yep, you get the top of his head.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you see. It's like that's the signal. It's like a good cue to.
Well, Bear, do another song for us, would you?
Okay, I could do that in the theme of the '80s.
Yeah, that'd be great. You see, you get turned on first when you are
there's
the clapper. You get turned on first.
Automatic.
I love it. But Will, you're gonna have to tell me the name of the song and the artist. I'm sorry, you got me.
When it first came on, don't say it yet. When it first came on, I thought, my name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
No,
that's not it.
No.
I do know that song and I do it, but
you put them together.
The clue is
It's gonna kill you. Okay. It's gonna kill you when you find out because I know what it is.
Oh shit! Okay, Ed, you got it. Okay, Ed got it.
It is so not the version that you would recognize because it's done so differently.
It's Michael Jackson's oh my God.
What?
You don't even know.
Exactly.
Billie Jean.
Billie Jean. Michael, are you serious?
Billie Jean is not your lover.
Wait a minute. Dennis, help me, come in. What the hell is Will doing? What, Will?
Like, what is that?
Well,
he's running through Robbie the Robot.
Exactly. Holy shit. Will, well, yeah, man, you know how to you do that with a lot of the songs.
Really mangle stuff.
Oh, I loved it. There was a couple places I thought it sounded like you're going into a different song, like a medley or something. Then you came back.
I should do that.
Yeah,
I should do that.
I don't know. Okay, that's
cool. It's cool when you
you
stump somebody. You know, like
you're missing the dun.
I do love doing that. I mean, when it's in a good way,
and you do it well. You
when
do
it's
it
like,
very.
When it's like, because you're like, who is I know that, but I don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So Will, hang on. How are you doing? Like you've got like more orchestration happening now. Like your later productions or whatever this is. Like you had like a pad synthesizer on that. Like what are you using for that?
That had I actually did that. That was one of the first tunes that I did, and it was the first tune that I ever did for the show.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't think this is going to work. And you like talked me into it because this whole idea of overdubbing, playing with backing tracks, and I just thought I don't know if this is going to work. But anyway, gosh, it's hard to even remember. I was using GarageBand back then. It was
so you were using software instruments. You weren't using a keyboard of any kind.
Correct. Yeah. And I was in any keyboard sounds that were on there were like playing the keyboard on the screen using the keys.
Right. Oh wow, yeah.
So that like
because you're not a keyboard player. You don't play.
No, and that's one of those things where I really become like OCD because I'll spend like I once spent 6 hours just trying to play one chord progression for a song and like went nuts after that. That was the only time when I wasn't a nice guy.
It's how your muscles are wired into your brain because I know that like I tried to learn the ukulele. I'm actually not a bad ukulele player now, right? But I go out and I play ukulele for my forest cats outside when I'm feeding them, and they seem to like it, and they but I came out play a bunch of chords and whatever, but like in the beginning, it was terrible. It was like, and it hurts and you're bleeding. And you're like,
oh my God.
Your fingers from a ukulele. I'm like, this is a torture device. Now I actually have fun. It's a torture device. Like the freaking Germans, like, let's make a saxophone with all these buttons on them. You're like, bastards. So
let's create something that makes you miserable to play.
Right, exactly.
Steel string guitar is like that. I mean, it's just torture, And if you ever
guitars, like I have tried to learn the guitar, and now that I play the ukulele, I'm like, should I make the jump to guitar? And I'll go get an acoustic guitar. I'll bring it out, and I'll be like, what now? Like, how many strings are there? There's way too many strings. Like on the ukulele, it's like one finger or two fingers. That's a chord,
So I played guitar a long time ago. He used to play guitar and was a half-assed lead player. And, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't good by any means. And then I moved over to the bass. I've been playing bass for like almost 50 years now.
There you go.
And I got a guitar out the other day, and it's like, how do you get your fingers to not hit all 5 strings at the same time?
There you go.
They're so stinking small. Playing like this, like a little miniature one.
I can't really do it. So my latest thing that I play is I mean, I've been playing this for a while, but I'm sort of really getting into it now. Is this thing? Have I brought this on the air yet?
Yeah.
Yes, you have, and I love it, Ed.
It's called an organelle. It's called an organelle, and it looks weird. And the buttons are made of wood. They're like walnut buttons, right? That's their gimmick. And it's got a speaker. It's got a speaker from like a Vega, from like a Chevy Vega or whatever that is, right? It's like you see the speaker in there, and it's got this little OLED screen. What this is basically a computer in a weirdo box with I/O, with MIDI, with USB. It's a computer in here, and it's open source software, so you can write your own programs for it, like from scratch. So it can be an effects pedal, it can be like a flanger or a delay, and it can be a synthesizer, it can be a sampler, it can be all kinds of weird stuff and combinations of things. It's all software driven, and so you can kind of make it into what you want, but you can like take it into the woods and go sit on a stump and play it, and it's actually the speaker's bloody loud. Like normally you'd be like, all right, I'm turning it up to full. It's like, no, half is plenty. Like full would hurt you. It's like, I don't know what they did. It runs on batteries.
Full will hurt you.
And and so like it's a great machine. And I got it for the weirdness factor. Like, okay, I could program the code of the computer. You can actually it's got an HDMI port on the back, and you can plug it into your TV, and then you plug. It's got USB. It's got like a USB Wi-Fi. You can deal with Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Or you can plug a keyboard and a mouse into it, and boink, you have a programming environment on a big screen in front of you, and then you unplug it and you take it out, and it does what it does. But it's got some patches in it where it's got one that's like it's kind of like a vocoder, that like robot voice sound.
Yeah.
But what you can do is you can play a chord on the ukulele and then play the keys on the keyboard, and it will play the chords. It'll deconstruct the sound of the ukulele and play the chords and the strumming in the notes you're playing on the keyboard. So I could, with my left hand, I could just strum on the neck, and I could play the notes on the keyboard. So it's got all kinds of performance possibilities out of that weirdo thing.
It can listen to you play an instrument, and then it will replicate that in another instrument
live while you're playing.
Wow.
It's
in real time.
It's some weird computer guru guy in some little room somewhere wrote it and uploaded it to the internet. It's all open source, and there's a community, right? And the community is like, oh, look what I came up with. I don't know how to play it, but hopefully somebody can do something great with it. Yeah. And then you can load it up, and you could take portions of his code and you can put it in your code. It's very, very cool.
Wow.
So
very nerdy and weird.
Bass, and while I'm playing, it could say, "No, dumbass, it goes like this."
Yeah, exactly. Oh! Yeah, exactly. It can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, it could really do that. You could program it to do that. I wouldn't mind getting you into the programming language, Dennis. You probably it's a visual object oriented programming language, so that even like a dope like me who doesn't do programming could figure it out.
Yeah. What
you could have something where you play notes, and every time you play the note that's out of the scale, it would transpose it up to the right scale.
It would just automatically.
Like you could have allowable notes, Yeah.
God, that sounds. I use Logic Pro for all of my authoring, and I don't understand anything about how to use it. I've been using it now for a year for everything I do, and I don't understand how it works.
It's like knowing Microsoft Excel. You only know like the surface of it.
That's it's the 80-20 rule. When I was at Quicken, we discovered that 80% of the customers used 20% of the features. So
that's it.
You focus on getting those features really down well. So, little Mr. Marketer here. Next, we'll go on to a first aid from my EMT years.
There you go.
How to remove a hook from a finger. But now
they have AI inside. They have AI in Excel, so you can ask Excel how to take a hook out of a finger.
Right.
There you go. Actually, what I'm hoping to do is this winter. I always have a winter. I probably said this to you guys. I always have a winter project, And it's something weird and it's something ambitious because I know I'm going to be locked up in the house losing my mind. Like I can't watch The Sopranos again, you know? And so like one of my winter projects was to learn Ableton Live, and it changed my life. And this year's winter project is I'm going to build my own music production computer system from scratch using a Raspberry Pi, which is like this little contraption. Like it's a computer, like kind of looks
computer
like
on a chip.
Yeah, it's a computer on a chip, and I've already figured out the different coding environments that I'm going to use, and it's actually going to have some separate circuit boards in it that do cool things, and that's going to be my latest. But the whole idea is that you can stop thinking about like, okay, if I want to make a note, I press this key on a keyboard, it'll play that note on a piano. Or if I pluck this string on the guitar and I hold my fingers like this, it'll play these notes. Forget that. This thing is like, I don't respect any of those rules. I don't know any of those rules. It can do anything you want. It could play the scale backwards. It could play it upside down. It could change the notes. Anything you could dream up and code, you can then have. And if you're not a good coder, you can go find somebody to help you.
I'm getting this entire image of a plot of what's going to happen this winter, which is that we wind up going, I haven't heard from Ed in like 2 weeks. Have you heard from Ed? One of us got to go out there and check on him. And one of us goes out to check on you. And it's this combination of Young Frankenstein and Phantom of the Opera, where we're waiting through the snow to get to your house. We open the door and there's like, all these electric machines.
It'll be like Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek when the board got him and he had the wires coming out of his face. That's what I'm going to be like.
And you're like working over this bench. Don't look at me, I'm ugly.
Right. I'm like, hi guys, how you
doing? We'll be like, oh my God, look at what's happening to Ed. We got to get you out of here.
Jacob Flatter back.
Oh my God.
Will's imagination.
Right.
Meanwhile, I can't figure out how to get Robbie the robot to be ChatGPT on the show.
That would be pretty amazing if you could.
There it is.
Yeah, we got close. Dennis and I were working on it for a while, and then we just got distracted. You know what happened? Not winter happened. In the winter, you're like, let's get Robbie. I got to bring it. Let's spend 5 hours talking about how we're going to get like an avatar to talk and ChatGPT. So. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to have an avatar, Robbie the robot, on the show, and I want to have a music synthesizer that I can
studio
customize. Yeah, that's the idea.
We'll expect this next spring. Yeah,
we'll loop it all through. Ableton.
And you know what else I want to do? I want to do a collaborative. I want to get back into the collaborative thing that like we did with Mike Townwall.
Those were cool. Yeah.
I want to start doing some more of that and involve you guys in that. And there's no reason that Dave, you can't be. We should do it. It's fun, but it's fun when you don't have to. Oh, I'm going to run off and do this and do that. Like if you're literally stuck at home in the freezing cold, it's like, all right, I'm going to light the fire and I'm going to do this for 4 days.
Yeah,
because that'd be great. We could send you tracks, David. You could play drums to the. To the tracks, and you never got on one of those because you sort of came into Jam TV later.
Late in there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I came
what
in.
episode?
I can't even remember, but I was watching you guys. I mean, that's what I did. All I did was watch you guys. I watched and I watched, and I didn't understand. Ed, I still don't understand how you do it all. But I appreciate Ed inviting me. I didn't know how to get in or anything, Dennis and Will. I mean, I'm watching you guys and trying to remember your names and the state that you're in, right? The actual site.
Right. Where are you? Yeah.
Right.
I met a lot of people through Jam TV. I met a lot of characters that came on. And
Dave, you're already set up to do it. All those little videos you do playing drums, that's basically all it is.
I get these texts. I'm sure you guys do as well through Messenger. There's a short text that says it's a woman's foreign name, and it'll say something like, I see you profile like talk to you fun.
Oh yeah, that's a Chinese hacker. I get those.
Exactly, and you kind of you click on it, and sure enough, there's like a profile with nothing but a photograph, and that's it, and so on. and then I get another one of these, and it's from somewhere. It's once again a woman I've never heard of. So I'm figuring, it's going to be, and it's from Nicole out in Japan, who's one of our viewers. Right.
No,
and it's very intelligent, articulate. We start exchanging back and forth, and but at first I was expecting me see you and think you are. Instead, it turns out to be this intelligent woman. I am in
Korea. It's like, no, I'm an American in Korea. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was very comical. It's like, this is not what I was expecting at all.
Good stuff. Yeah, we have a lot of fans in Asia, in Philippines, in Thailand, in Korea, and Japan. We're a thing. They don't know we're not a real show.
That's right. They don't know.
Today sponsored by.
We're actually all in one room, and they're actually it's a platform with 4 desks, one on top of each other.
Exactly.
And
this is
we're pretending
like Hollywood Squares.
Yeah. God Almighty.
Can you imagine? I mean, I remember when I was in college. Just sort of a sidetrack. I remember I worked at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts, which is like the Lincoln Center or Kennedy Center.
Really cool.
And they had stage. They had Broadway shows come through. They had a television studio, like a really nice television studio, and a very nice audio studio, recording studio. Tape, 2-inch, the Studio Revox and a MCI board in there. And then they would have orchestras, and they had enough channels to mic everybody in the orchestra, and they had all the mics, and it was a class act thing. Tape. And so I worked there. I was an intern. I got a job as an intern there, and at the end of the day, everybody's like, "Oh, thank God, it's 5:00. We get to go home." And I'd be like, "Can I stay in the building?" And they're like, "If you want, right?"
And
they were like, I was an intern. Like, I don't know if you get away with that today, but they were like, "Sure, we like you. You can stay in. Just check out with the guard when you leave." And what I would do is I would go behind the equipment racks with a clipboard, and I would draw out like this. I don't know what this box is, but the camera goes into this thing, and then it goes into this thing, but then it goes out to this, black generator, and it was all old, analog stuff, which is very complicated, So I would, and same with the audio gear. I'd figured out I'd look through the equipment racks, and I'd be like, instead of just looking at it and going, "Wow, that's amazing," I'd figure out what's this box? That's a lexicon reverb, and that's a delay line, and that's what's a compressor. I remember discovering there was a thing called a gain brain, which is a great compressor. I wish I had it today. And I'd be like, all right, what is that? There was no internet, so what I did was I'd call the manufacturers, right? I would call Gain Brain, right? Or I'd call Ampex, right? And I would say, "Hi, this is Ed Train calling from the Denver Center for the Performing Arts," and they'd all snap to attention because they thought I was the senior engineer or something, right?
Yeah, right.
And I'd be like, "I want to talk to you about this Zeus product line," and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'll transfer you to the guy." I get the guy. Little do I know the Zeus time-based corrector, and an ADO, and these things that you do on your iPhone now, where the images, they flip around and they change color and they do things like that. The fact that you could plug cameras in and they synchronize with each other and they don't get all crazy. And so then the guy would be explaining to me, "Well, we got the new one coming out and it does this and it does that." And I'm taking notes. He doesn't know. He thinks I'm some big cheese at the Denver Center, right? And so he says, "If you want, we'll fly you down to Dallas for the NAB show, the National Association." I go, "I'd love to come," right?
Oh my God.
I would have my Ed Train Denver Center Performing Arts, right? I wouldn't tell anybody back there. They'd be like, "No, you can't go to the NAB." Like Ampex flying you down there, like big company, right? Because I'm talking to them about theirs, and I had my wish list. Like, I want to have a system, and I want to make this, and I want to make that. I was like, I'm going to own a studio someday, and I want to have all this stuff. So I need to know what every piece of gear does. Like the conductor of the orchestra has to know what every instrument does.
Right.
And I had the best time. And let's see. So that I was 19 when I was doing that, or 20. And by the time I was 24, I had a studio in New York, all from making those connections at the NAB and faking it until I made it,
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Where are you staying? Because we'd like to have dinner with you tonight." And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just coming for the day because I couldn't afford a hotel room."
Yeah.
As a kid, like
right,
my monthly grocery bill was $100, and if they hadn't flown me down there, I couldn't afford the bill, the hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
But they gave me the pass to the show, and they flew me down. I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
Gotta love that.
I was watching a video the other day on, how long is it? Like 18 minutes, called Skywalker Sound Behind the Map.
Oh yeah, I know all about Skywalker Sound.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting one. It was entertaining to me. They're talking about their sound effects in their computer lab. Everything was hooked up. They had just racks of servers back there, and then a time sequencer to keep them synced together. What they said they had.
What they did there,
20,000 sound effects.
They also had an edit system that they were pioneering called the Edit Droid. Look that up, the Edit Droid, and it was based on laser discs. So what they did, you would transfer the footage of your movie onto the laser disc every day, and then you would load. It was a machine that had like 20 laser disc players with all your footage, and it had two screens, like an edit, like a flatbed editor, and you could type in, and it would edit based on the laser disc. You would randomly go to the sections and edit your piece together so that you could get ideas and look at your dailies. Like, it was not for finished productions at all. You finished productions, you then go back and cut the film. You'd make it was actual film, but it was so you could do your editing. It was way ahead of its time. Now, of course, I have iMovie on my iPhone, so which is 100 times better than
DaVinci Resolve.
Right. Now you could do everything on your little $300 computer. You could do amazing things. Yeah. But in those days, that was a $1 million system and very innovative. So,
yeah, they were talking about they had 720,000 different sound effects, and they were interviewing one guy, and his job was to go there to listen to it and describe it, so that other people could say, I need one that does this, this, this. And so he was building the index for all of those.
On the list. Oh, my God.
That's going to be interesting, because there was a lot of work that was done in creating instrument packs and sample packs and song packs and things like that is gone. Like, it doesn't even, that technology doesn't even exist anymore. But with AI now, you could take a shelf full of, CD-ROMs, upload it to the AI and say, figure out what this is. And make it useful. The AI could go through it and do what that guy did.
Right, and describe it.
Yeah, it could go through all the sound effects and go, oh, well, this is a gunshot. Let me play the 10 that I think are the best ones. Like, an AI could go through that and pick and choose. And you could then make it all prompt-based. It could be interesting to see how that's coming. That's right around the corner.
That's something that AI could handle that a human couldn't. I mean, one of the challenges with these sounds is, you find this in Logic Pro. I'm sure you find it in Ableton Live if it has plugins and instruments.
Yep.
How do you describe the sound of a synthesizer when there's 4,000 sounds? This one is, deep space balls glasses, and none of the names actually sound like what the damn thing is. So it's if you're looking for a kind of sound, you can't find it by reading the names, because some idiot, sorry, people at Logic Pro, named them in a stupid way. But AI would probably find a way of codifying it so that.
Well, I'll give you an example. I have an effects library, a sound effects library that I got. It's drum hits and drum loops and synthesizer sounds and loops and sounds that you can sample and do things like that. It's 64 gigabytes. It's giant, and it's WAV files. So I've seen memes of like on Recording Studio, things where it's like what they think, what my fans think I do in the studio, and they're like rocking out in the studio, partying and jamming, whatever. And he's like, what I really do, and it's him going through 4,000 snare drum hits to find like he's like, that one, maybe that one. It's like for 4 hours.
And I try to write them down, like what they do sound like, so that next time I'll come back around. I've got like, and I don't like any of them. The ones that come with the program, you never like the ones that come with. They're not what you want, so you wind up like only liking 4 out of 1,000.
Right.
So you wind up going back to your favorite 4 over and over again.
The problem is they hit you up. They know when to hit you up. Like, they're like, all right, look, Ed Train at 9:30 at night or 11:30 at night, Like if we play some cool groove, like he'll spend $40 on that library. He'll buy that library for $40. Just because he wants to jam with that guy, that famous James Brown drummer or whatever, right? What was that guy, Stubblefield, was the funky drummer, right?
Yeah.
What was his first name? I can't remember. And but he's the funky drummer. When James Brown goes, give it to the funky drummer, right? Like that's the guy, right? So it's like 11:30 at night, and I hear, and I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, oh my god, it's only $40 on sale. Oh my god, I got a coupon for 20%. Oh my god, type this code and now it's $38. Oh my god, I'm buying it. And then the next morning I'm like, what was I thinking?
This sounds like crap. I don't need this.
No. And then what do? Like, so I take my Hammond organ out and I play that. I set that up, and then I play his drum loop in Ableton, right? It's right, and I'm like, da, 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 da. All right, I'm an idiot. Why did I buy that?
This did not work.
It's like buying a GoPro. Like in the GoPro commercials, like it's like doing flips off of jump and like
do everything,
jumping out of an airplane in the stratosphere and like swimming with the whale sharks or whatever. But then you buy it, right? It's $500. You get it. And you're like, oh, amazing. And you put the little thing on your head and whatever. And then you're like, now I have to go like jump out of a hot air balloon.
Right.
I have to do something exciting now. I don't know how to do that.
That doesn't come with it. Like
there's $500 for the camera, and then another $200 for all the accessories so you can hook it to your head.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you got it all done and you're like, this is me walking into the bathroom and taking a leak. Like that's like you have to have the exciting life, to want.
Yeah, if only you had a Segway or something.
It's like,
right, like I had one with the motorcycle for a while. And I've got a couple of cool things, but I don't watch them. Like, what am I going to do? Go back and like, let me go watch myself riding my motorcycle up Independence Pass in a time lapse. It's like, all right, whatever.
Oh my God, there's so much stuff on YouTube. They had this stuff called Shorts, which is basically their attempt to keep up with TikTok. And it's filled with there's such a plethora of I'm proud of that word, plethora. I'm intelligent. Of this kind of video of tapes that are dash cams and helmet cams. So there's just a million things of cops doing bad things, cops doing good things that'll melt your heart, but it's basically stuff that happens on roads, and that's it, And then there's some like dancing pretty girls who do like some fancy things here and there. But,
there it is. Oh my God! All right, Will Bear, do you want to do one more song before we start thinking about wrapping up Jam TV?
Sure.
He's got it.
I said I was going to stick in a 1980s theme, so I might have done this song recently. I just can't remember. So forgive me if you're like, oh, you did that last week. Jesus Christ, I couldn't help myself. Cyndi Lauper will never forgive me.
Oh, what was that?
Brother,
I got it.
I didn't get it.
I didn't get it either. Don't be. Are you serious?
Oh, I got it.
Did you? Wait a minute.
I got it. I got it. He started out like it's nothing worse because I'm an ear player, right? I'm an ear player, and I play with a lot of bands, even bands that I know all the music. And the guitar player is like, all right, we're starting the song, and it's like ding 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 ding. It's okay, it's an A. Ding 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 ding. And I don't know which song it is. It could be this one, or it could be that one, or it could be this one. I'm like, oh, it's that one. Okay, it goes to the 4. No, it's not that song. Shit,
damn, it went to the 6.
Yeah,
because I'm deaf, right?
Iconic bass line to it.
The guitar player will turn around to the bass player, and because it's important, the bass player knows he's got to come in right away, right? The drummer who gives a shit, hey, Jay, he's in the back. So they says it to the drummer, and I hear, let's do oh, okay, and I'm like, I didn't hear what they said,
right?
Yeah.
And so they start the song. I'm like, I'll get it. I'm like, oh, it's in this key, and I'm trying to guess. I'm looking at the list, right? It's like, sure. And that song starts out with like 8 bars of like. No changes, just the same friggin' chord, and I'm like, oh, I can't get it. But then as soon as it came in, I'm like, got it.
So help me because
I don't
time
know.
after time, Cyndi Lauper, time after time.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Or Phil Collins. Didn't Phil Collins do that?
I don't know.
Yes,
he might have covered it.
Phil Collins covered it.
Yes, he did. He covered it. He covered it. But come on now, hold up, Will. Break it down to me. How the hell did I not know that tune?
That's funny.
Well, there's so much. There's so much noise around it of Wildom. There's so much of me that I packed in around it that's discordant with the original song. So, which is why my backing tracks sound different. That's cool.
You're used to having a vocalist, a very distinctive vocalist,
right?
That comes in there, and as soon as she opens her mouth, you're like, "Oh my God, it's Cyndi Lauper!"
That's great. I love this song. Yeah. But
if I'd have known that ahead of time, I might have figured it out. But
I mean, face it. Every lead singer that you've ever been in a band with. No offense to all of my friends who are lead singers, but every friggin' one of them. They kind of sort of all sound the same. Like you don't go immediately, oh, that's so-and-so immediately, right?
Yeah.
But Cyndi Lauper, like she could go, and you're like, I guess Cyndi Lauper. Right? You got Michael Jackson. He goes, woo! You're like, that's Michael Jackson, right? Prince, immediately you know who they are based on nothing. And most singers are just like, oh, they're singing the song. They're vanilla.
Will, you got me, brother. If I would have bet, I would have lost the farm.
I fooled you. I fooled you.
You did. You sure did, man.
It's definitely a curveball arrangement. It's a pretty odd arrangement. The whole verse is like doesn't sound. Nothing is following the melody at all.
No.
It's a completely different song, and then there's the melody on top of it, and then it shifts into the chorus, and actually everything starts to be the chords of the song, the rhythm of the song, and then it shifts out of that back to the verse where it's like that strange. Where am I now?
So and you did it slower. You did it slower.
Oh man!
And and it's slower than her stuff. Yeah, all of my stuff is slower than the original.
Then he uses a capo just to throw me off.
It's like at a Will Baird concert. It's like quick run.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
That's okay. I mean,
For all you on Quaaludes,
exactly.
Ed, what I'm going to do is when the show is done, I'm going to go back. And I'm going to listen to Will do it again. Now knowing what you're telling me.
There you go. Do that.
Well, and then listen to the original Cyndi Lauper one.
That'll
flip you.
Exactly. I got that.
You got that in his head.
I got that in my head. But
do you? Does anybody listen to Oz Noy? Do you know who that is? He's an Israeli guitar player. In my opinion, one of the best guitar players in the world today. Like he's a Jeff Beck quality guitar player, like a terrific Oznoy, Oznoy, and he's an Israeli guy. I know him actually, and he plays at the bitter end sometimes. And we got to talking one day, and we're talking, and he's Israeli, and I lived in Israel for 2 years and ran an aviation project there. And I was telling,
wait a minute, Ed.
I had another life.
What kind of music does he play, Ed?
He plays like funk rock, but it's jazz, but it's like rock. It's like Jeff Beck. Like, is that jazz or is it rock? You know.
I think I know who he is. He plays with Dave Weckl.
Oh yeah, he plays with them all. He plays with Keith Carlock and Dave Weckl and like all of the greats.
Yes, sir. I know who
I saw him with Bernard Purdy at the bitter end. Yeah. Like I'm like, what? Like, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And he plays with Will Lee, plays bass with him a lot, and Jerry Z plays Hammond organ. Like phenomenal player. And they travel around the world, but they use the bitter end as a rehearsal gig. You know, they play Monday night sometimes at the bitter end for rehearsals, make their $100 or whatever. And and so he does he has on one of his records, so look it up on Spotify or whatever, Oz and the Way, and he does I think it's called 500 Miles, right? And do you know what that song is?
There's a folk song. There's an old folk song that's like
500
miles, 500
but I don't think that's the same.
Yeah. So so the song starts and it's slow and it's soulful, and the singer comes out and he starts singing this one, "When I Wake Up," and you're like, what? It's the song that goes, when I won't run 500 miles and I will walk 500. It's that song.
Okay, got you. Okay. All
right, but it's done slow and like a soulful ballad. And you could get
so cool.
halfway into the song and be like, wait a minute. That's that song.
Oh my God!
Right?
I'm not in Kansas.
Did they finally take off?
No, they do it as a slow ballad.
Oh, check that out.
Now, there's another thing that you should watch. All right, I'll leave you with this story. It's a funny story. So I'm on MySpace. You guys probably remember MySpace, right?
Yes,
So, like, how old do you have to be to remember MySpace? So I was on MySpace and I have music on there. And it was really cool. Like, it was before Facebook, right? Facebook around.
Oh no, it was the place to be.
And then I was on MySpace, and
right after the bulletin boards.
You didn't know who you should friend or not. There were no cameras really, like, so you didn't have your picture up there, whatever. And so I was friends with Alanis Morissette on MySpace. Right, you know, we friended each other or whatever you called it on MySpace. And she would post things, not videos in those days, but like you post audio and stuff. She'd post stuff and I would comment and whatever. And so what did I do? Oh, yeah. So I decided that I had just gotten Pro Tools, and I talked about my winter projects where I wanted to do something. As my winter project that would teach me Pro Tools, like a crash course in Pro Tools, I did a music video parody, not a video, audio only, a parody of Fergalicious by Fergie. You know what I'm talking from the Black Eyed Peas, the chick singer in the Black Eyed Peas. She had a song called Fergalicious, where she says like this bratty voice or whatever. And I did, my nickname at the time in my band was Special Ed, right? So I did Special Ed as Specialicious, and I did a parody of it, which I will play. So I'll do a music video for it, play it on the show. And so I did this, and I sent it to her on MySpace, my Fergie parody. And she wrote me back. She's like, "That's so amazing. It's so fun. Oh my God, it's what a great idea." Whatever. I was like, "Thank you so much." Right. And I'm like, it's probably not her, but I don't know. It seemed like it was her, right? She was talking like it was her. And then like her publicist went, "You can't be talking to people on MySpace. That's not dignified. You need to have, there needs to be a curtain between the famous artists and the schmucks like Ed Train, right? So she unfriended me on MySpace. I'm like, what just happened? Like, my friend, right, for a long time.
Yeah.
And so then that happened, and then she came out with a cover of Fergie's song, the Black Eyed Peas, "My Humps." Do you know that song?
Yeah.
So go on YouTube and look up Alanis Morissette, "My Humps." And so she put that out after she heard my Fergie cover, and she did a Fergie parody cover, and she did it as because it's a dance song. Fergalicious is a dance song. Right. She did it as a ballad, an angry young Alanis Morissette ballad.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really slow. Look it up. Everybody watching, look it up. Alanis Morissette, "My Humps," and HUMPS, and it's hysterical.
Wow.
It is hysterical.
And Ed, Are you getting any royalties?
No, she unfriended me. Yeah. In fact, I wrote her and I said, I can't believe you took my idea to do a parody of Fergie, and then she unfriended me.
Oh my God. Ed, that's wrong.
That's how it happened.
Yeah. That is so wrong.
Friggin' Canadians. Oh my God.
We're back to the Canadians.
So I have to tell you guys, this weekend I'm doing the Treehouse concert that I've been talking about. And I got some initial information, and it's going to be the most unusual gig I think I've ever done.
Oh,
you have to be weighed before you do the gig, and all of your gear has to be weighed because you're in a treehouse.
Yeah.
I want to know who the engineer was that was like, all right, the treehouse and the ladder have limits. You know,
exactly. And there's only so many people who can be up there, so which means the turnover is like a nightmare because there's just narrow steps because it was built for kids to play in. And then in order to make the changeover easier, they have like a band down below the treehouse,
right?
That plays
That's
while
a great
band's
idea.
Up above us, which it's like,
oh man,
this is really complicated. It's just for a neighborhood that has it's like a large neighborhood party, but a really weird one. So,
Will, is there any way you can get film footage of this?
I'll see what I can do.
Maybe a little bit snippet.
Set up a camera or something. See what you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably get it for private. Well, it's on private property. That's the tricky thing, is that you can film anyone you want on public property, but this is actually somebody's treehouse. It's just their whole neighborhood comes.
Do they have a lawyer? Do they have a really good lawyer on staff? If not, do it.
Get to them. Yeah.
I've been shut down by the Eagles, so I don't care.
Oh, there you go. I've been shut down by the Eagles too. So.
Yeah, they nail you. They're on everything. Yeah, they'll spot it in a second.
God. I think everybody on the screen has been tagged for the Eagles.
Yes.
The club. We'll get T-shirts for the next show. Like, I got shut down by the Eagles.
Right.
All right, you guys. Well, that's Jam TV show 156, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Good to see you all, and I look forward to seeing you next week on GMTV.
All right.
All right, later, guys.
Aloha.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the good music, Wilbert.
That was quite a show. We're out of drop now.